Welcome to the Baseball Insiders. Happy Monday. I am Adam Weinrib, joined as always by FanSided's MLB insider Robert Murray. And now is the time to check in with us and ask us who is still cooking, who has stopped cooking, who is enjoying their delicious meal, and who cooked garbage. Tatsuya Imai went. Robert talked about it. Houston Astro. That happened before the weekend began. Kazuma Okamoto went on Saturday morning to the Toronto Blue Jays, who continue to get better, not satisfied with coming in second and losing the World Series. They want more. So what's next for them? What's next for the Scott Boras folks? Now that the Japanese stars have landed at their spots, what happens with Cody, Bellinger, Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette of the world, Alex Bregman? Is anyone zeroing in on anyone? And what happened yesterday with these Edward Cabrera trade rumors and supplementary Freddy Peralta trade rumors? All that and answers to your questions. Please weigh in. We would love to feed some questions to Robert, talk directly to you. If you're here for the first time, welcome. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Eric Cole and I do a prospect show on Tuesday. You can also join us in the Discord. If you're not here for the first time, thanks for coming back. We plan to keep delivering what you want, the latest intel on rumors and the market with Robert, like 40 days to go before pitchers and catchers. What's going on here? How is it so soon?
It's freaking crazy. I remember I was at the winter meetings and I ran into Todd Rosiak, who's a buddy of mine. He was like, you like realize that we're 2 months away here from spring training, and I'm like, no. I thought he was wrong, but then like I did the math and I'm like, yeah, he's right. But spring training is closer. We still have a lot of star players out there. There's trade rumors going around like crazy as well. I mean, it feels like a pretty fun episode to do right now. So I'm anxious to dive right into it. So without further ado, Adam Weinrib, happy Monday. Welcome back. And you're at a new place. Look at you go.
I am. Look at this. You got a window. You got a door. Those are pretty much the minimum requirements for an apartment, but we have those. It's been fun. Moving is the worst thing that you can do. It's over. We're almost unpacked. We're settled. We're ready to talk ball here on the show. If you haven't yet tweeted at Robert and asked Grok to explain what's in the video, there's still time. Please go ahead and do that. I don't think Grok can handle it. He reads the episode description and then he just tells you what's in the episode description. He has no idea what's going on in the video. This is a live stream and we're going to stream it for you now. Tatsuya Imai goes to the Astros. I don't think we expected that before it happened. Okamoto to the Jays, a little bit more predictable, but still kind of confusing, out of nowhere to a lesser extent than Imai, but far less money than prognostications expected. People immediately asked, does this count the Jays out on Tucker, out on Bo Bichette, out on Bregman? There was some rumored mutual interest there. So thoughts on the move, the Okamoto move, and what it might mean for that next wave of stars as the Jays go big game hunting?
Yeah, I absolutely love the move for the Jays. Getting Okamoto is a really nice addition for them. 4 years for $60 million. It's not really that. I mean, it's a sizable contract for sure, but it's something that gives them upside. It gives them insurance in case they can't land, another infielder in free agency. You would seem to think it would end up impacting their chances of a guy like Alex Bregman. But that being said, I absolutely still believe that they're going to be in play here for Kyle Tucker, for Bo Bichette, for some of these other guys as well. And we've talked about it a lot on this show, but starting off here with Bichette is – he's a player that they're very familiar with. He came up through their entire system. He is someone that they love internally, and they have maintained dialogue with his side throughout free agency. So that's still absolutely in play here. With Kyle Tucker, like he is one of the options that they're considering, and they're one of the teams that he's considering as well. And we're finally getting some clarity on what his market could look like with the Mets. There's some other teams that Mark Feinsand linked earlier today, but I've heard all offseason that there's been big market teams involved with Kyle Tucker. So it's not a guarantee that the Jays land one of them. I saw Ben Nicholson-Smith say that same thing, and he ended up getting crushed. And he ended up clapping back at one of his commenters. I shot him a DM afterwards because Ben Nicholson-Smith is good at his job. He's very connected there in Toronto, and he's right. It's no guarantee that they land one of these guys. But that being said, they are in a good position. They're in a good spot to do so. But free agency, Jays fans know it better than anyone. There's no guarantees when it comes to it. But for their sake, I hope they do. But they're also so active. They've done so much in free agency already. It's super refreshing to see them dip into those waters and also get some of these guys. I don't think they're done. And that's really exciting because they were 2 inches away from winning it all. And now they're going to have an even better chance of doing so and winning it all. this coming season as well.
Yeah, they were an IKF lead away, a Miguel Rojas slightly longer stumble away, a non-hanging breaker to Miguel Rojas away. Don't forget the Muncy home run off Trey Savage. And they're acting like a team that lost the World Series and is like, you know what I want to do? Win the World Series. So I would imagine they have another big bat left in them. And shout out to Ben Nicholson-Smith. I, too, enjoy clapping back to my detractors. My haters will be waiters at the table of my success. And if you ask Rock to put a Red Sox hat on me, you get the belt. What next, though? You know, it's not a coincidence that both the Japanese stars were repped by Scott Boras, and I think we all had a lot of artificial deadlines in our head, especially at the winter meetings. Like, well, Kyle Schwarber will be the domino. Pete Alonso will be the domino. Now that Scott Boras has handled the Imai and Okamoto business with the ticking clock, like about 36 hours ahead of the time that they had to sign, they did. Do those other Boras clients start moving? You know, Joel Sherman reported a second Yankees offer to Cody Bellinger yesterday. Is that market officially clarifying in the way that we might have expected it to? What is the next domino to drop? And is it a Boras client? Is it somebody who we've been waiting on forever?
Yeah, I could see it being a Boras client, and I don't know which one it would be between either Cody Bellinger or Alex Bregman. I think you can make the case for both here. Bellinger, I mean, I still think that the most likely scenario is he goes back to the Yankees. I have not heard of progress there yet. I don't believe he's close as of this point. But if you look at it, to me, like, they make the most sense here from a fit perspective, from a financial perspective. They also provide the opportunity to win. And if you can ensure that you have Cody Bellinger and then also Aaron Judge, like, as a key part of your core, like the faces of your offense, that's a pretty darn good thing. So I think they make sense, but we're starting to see some other teams linger in this or get involved with this as well. We saw John Heyman mention the Chicago Cubs as a team that's checked in on Bellinger. Yeah, he's been there before. He knows what it's like. He got traded from there. I don't know if there'd be any ill will there necessarily, but I can't imagine that's the most likely thing in the entire world. But between them, because they've also been involved with Bregman. So you have those two teams. I've mentioned the Giants previously, but I still can't see that necessarily happening. Although I've been proven wrong before. It sounds like the Giants are more involved in the trade market right now than anything. There's other teams in the mix here with Bellinger as well, but I still think the Yankees serve as the most likely suitor here. And then going to Bregman here, you have the Red Sox. I still have not gotten a confirmation on that Red Sox report about them making an aggressive offer. I know he's got a good market. That's what I've been told. So Red Sox to me make the most sense here. I've stated all the reasons before on other shows: offense, defense, locker room, like everything. They loved him. The Cubs to me serve as a really interesting possibility here, though. They were involved last year. They wanted him. Obviously, he's a year older now, but you have a young clubhouse there. You need leadership, especially after probably losing Kyle Tucker here. I think it makes sense. And if you're the Cubs, you can't go into this offseason realizing that Tucker is probably leaving and just do absolutely nothing besides bolster your bullpen. Like, good job addressing the bullpen. They needed to do so. And I love the Hunter Harvey addition among the other ones that they made. But they need to make a splash because, you're the Chicago Cubs. You're a big market team. You shouldn't be losing the division as big as they did to the Milwaukee Brewers. They should go out and act like a big market team. And to me, that involves either signing Bregman, signing Bellinger, or just doing something big because they need to do something.
Yeah, we appreciate all the questions about where these folks will ultimately land. We're doing our best. We've seen the aggressive, Bregman rumors. We have seen the Yankees Bellinger rumors. It does feel like those have been natural fits all along. Maybe some other teams will be involved. And we see your super chats as well. We're going to get to as many of these as we can. And yeah, Joe Hill, I see you. We'll go to you soon. But I do want to get to the buzz that sort of took over, yesterday briefly. There was a lot of Edward Cabrera Yankees buzz specifically. But it was a Chris Kirshner report. Ken Rosenthal came out and said the Yankees and Marlins were talking. And then all of a sudden it was more than talking. And the internet had tricked themselves into believing the deal was almost done. Then we heard a bunch of other teams connected to Cabrera. Wait a minute. The Giants are still in there. The Cubs are still in there. The Mets are still in there. And hey, the Yankees are also talking about Freddy Peralta. And so are the Mets. And so are plenty of other teams. So thoughts on Cabrera, where that stands, the trade talks, how strongly are the drums beating? Where are we going? And then what do the Freddy Peralta rumors have to do with the Edward Cabrera situation?
Yeah, I'll start with Cabrera here. Is like what Ken Rosenthal and Chris Kirschner ended up writing, that the Yankees have talked to the Marlins about Cabrera, is absolutely accurate. Like, those conversations are happening, have happened. As of this point, I don't believe it's close, but they have talked, and I want to give credit to Barstool Hubs for reporting that. He was on that and mentioned some names as well. Yeah, I mean, it's good job by him on that. I will confidently say that. But as of this point, nothing is close there. There are other teams involved. The Giants were a team that were mentioned by John Heyman. They have been involved in that. I don't know to what extent here, but they have been more focused or active on the trade market now than I would say free agency. We heard the Cubs mentioned, the Mets mentioned. Here's another one, and this is just speculation by me, but what about the Boston Red Sox? They are a team that is always looking for pitching. They stockpile it. They love it. And if you can end up having a playoff rotation that's headlined by Crochet, Sonny Gray, and Edward Cabrera, it's pretty darn good. I mean, you have some real possibilities there, and that would be a nightmare to face. But then you can turn it around to the Yankees here. You have Fried, Rodon, Cabrera. I also forgot a guy named Garrett Cole. I mean, that's pretty formidable. Yeah, so a Schlittler too. Good shot. I don't know how I forgot about Schlittler, but yeah, he's like, if you have that rotation in the postseason, that automatically makes you one of the most formidable teams, especially from a pitching perspective, in all of baseball. So I don't know where he goes. I do think a trade has a very fair chance of happening. But as of this point, I don't believe anything is close. Then going to Freddy Peralta here, there's been a ton of teams linked to Peralta. And I remember right after the Woodruff qualifying offer, where he ended up accepting it, my thought from talking to people around the league was that a Peralta trade was probably going to happen. Obviously, Mark Antanasio and Matt Arnold of the Brewers ended up kind of squashing that and said that this does not mean that Woodruff accepting the qualifying offer doesn't mean that Peralta is going to go. I still am in the camp that believes that Peralta is probably on the move this winter. I think it's going to get to a point where the Brewers are going to just get overwhelmed with an offer that they can't refuse for Peralta, and they end up getting, let's say, pitching and just other high-end players in return for him. To me, it makes the most sense for the Brewers to do so, because they lost Willie Adames in free agency. I mean, they never really had a chance there. But if you can move Peralta and you can recoup some of that value, maybe add another arm to the rotation. And they still have depth in the rotation too. Like, that's the thing, is they have arms available to step in case they move Peralta. I think he's moved. But obviously there's no guarantees, but I still think he's moved.
And have you considered in your Cabrera assessment that he is a walking hospital? Did that factor in at all?
I actually, it kind of does. Cause like, here's the thing is, like, players have to go through a physical, in order for a trade to go through. We saw what happened last year with Jesus Luzardo with that reported deal with the Cubs. It's something we got to keep in mind here, because he's got a pretty extensive and long injury history. I mean, I don't know if that's going to end up hindering any deal necessarily, but that being said, like, it's a factor I think that we should keep an eye on.
Yeah, a hospital full of many patients with various maladies and somehow still walking. So we appreciate the comments as always. That situation.
Also, I do want to say I'm not hearing anything like is injury or anything. That was just a general statement. I want to make that clear, because I try to be careful with injury stuff.
Yeah, of course. But it's got to be a concern for anybody who's following that process, knowing that not just injury prone, but missed some time last year with an elbow sprain. So that's a sprain is a mild tear. If you are evaluating the situation objectively, you could say career high in innings pitched, 150 Ks, elite changeup. Those are all correct, but you've got to factor in that he almost didn't finish last season with an injury that is often a precursor to something much worse. So electric starter, but real fears, and that's why maybe the rumored package that you all saw Eric Cubs come out with yesterday, that the Ben Hestel and Lewis package, that might have surprised people by feeling a little light. So nothing close, but if this does get closer to the finish line, a lot of considerations on both sides.
No, exactly. So it's definitely one to follow here. There's plenty of teams involved. I mean, his name has been mentioned in trade rumors now for 1-2 years at this point. So I think there's a fair chance of him being moved, but yeah, we'll see. But the rumors feel like they're only going to heat up for a guy like Cabrera right now.
Agreed. Super chat time. We did have someone asking if Perry is going to finally wake up, and we appreciate you joining us to drop that one off. Latest on the Angels, we know one of the most unpredictable teams there is, and this could all change by next week. And Artie Moreno could authorize big spending, but what's your current vibe?
Yeah, I'm kind of in wait and see mode with the Angels because, as you said, with Artie being so unpredictable, you never really know. I also still can't get clarity on if what they might end up doing now that they have the Rendon contract not off the books. I don't know, deferred. I think that's probably the better way of phrasing it. But I don't believe Nolan Arenado is going to be like a serious option for them. Cody Bellinger has been mentioned before. They've checked in there, but he wants to be with a winner, and the Angels do not provide that. So I don't see that necessarily happening. I do see them adding a starting pitcher. They absolutely need offense as well. But to what level and what level of player that looks like, I can honestly say that I'm not sure. And I don't want to lie to you guys. I genuinely don't know what level of player that they're likely to end up signing here or adding, just either through trade or through free agency here.
I don't want to lie to you guys either. I just want to make that very clear. I don't like lying, and I prefer truth telling. KDD Clan with the other super chat. We did sort of discuss this earlier, but just sort of more point blank, Jays more likely play Tucker or Bo Bichette. If you're asking me, it's Kyle Tucker because the number of suitors is a little bit less, and they've been the perceived from a guy standing outside the circle. It's felt like they've been the perceived front runner for a while now without a lot of movement. But if you had to pick one, who you picking for the Jays?
That's a really tough question because you can make the argument for both. I'll go with Tucker here as well. I mean, that's just guess as of this point, but they are involved in the Tucker sweepstakes. They really like the player. And I think it makes a whole lot of sense for them. And if there's ever a team that can end up offering that long-term contract that he seeks, I would think it would end up being the Jays, or they'd be in the best position to go out and do so. But I still don't think we should dismiss the chances of them bringing back Bichette. They love him. They really like the player there. But we have seen more reports here about teams that are involved with his market. And the one that it's so funny. I had asked somebody the other day, I was like, could the Phillies be an option for Bichette? And the guy was like, yeah, maybe that can end up being a thing. And we were laying out the different scenarios here. Maybe, and this is just a speculation and just the kind of conversation that we have, but maybe if they don't bring back Real Muto, maybe if they trade Alec Bohm, they could end up being in a position there to add a guy like Bichette. And that would be a big splash. It would end up adding a lot of uncertainty behind the plate there in Philadelphia, and we would have no idea where Real Muto could end up going in that situation. But I can't imagine it's the most likely thing by any means, but the fact that we're hearing the Phillies, we've seen the Yankees, we've seen all these other teams mentioned with Bichette now, and the Dodgers as well. I mean, there's others in there as well. I know that, but his market's pretty extensive, and I feel like it's been that way almost the entire offseason here.
We've got Pirates fans, and shout out, I wore the hat for you, asking about the Jim Bowden, Cody Bellinger whispers. And to those I say, I think that's just the creaking wind. I don't think those are whispers about baseball. I think he should probably disregard those particular whispers. But the Pirates have been connected a lot more tangibly to Eugenio Suarez, even though the rumors haven't been that strong. It just is a fit that makes a lot more sense. And a guy who's not seeking a 7-year deal like Bellinger's been rumored to. So thoughts on that fit at all? Or if you think the Pirates are largely done spending after not landing Okamoto, that also seems plausible to me.
Wait, are you mentioning the Bellinger and Pirates link? Is that sorry? I was looking. I got a text. Yeah,
more so the Suarez and Pirates link, but obviously there's that little weird Bellinger whisper in the ear too.
Yeah, I mean, they could always check in, but I can't imagine Bellinger is a likely fit here for the Pirates. I would love it. I feel like that'd be really cool, but I'd be stunned by that. But regarding Suarez, I can't say he's a name that I've heard much with the Pirates. I mean, it's always possible that they could end up exploring that and seeing exactly what they can go out and get here. But to me, I think a scenario that makes a lot of sense for the Pirates is using whatever money that they have available and spreading it out through different positions here, whether it's adding another bat, adding to the bullpen, and then adding a starting pitcher as well, and maybe going for some like mid-tier options there. I hope they go out and spend big on a bat, and then they end up going and spending some other money on the pitching staff. But I think the scenario that we need to watch is them spreading it out evenly throughout those positions here.
Yeah, certainly feels that way. We appreciate everybody weighing in today. I hope you're all having a better Monday than Tyler Loop or Keely Ringo is. The NFL playoffs are set.
Dude, yeah, that was a low blow. That Keely Ringo play was among the worst. It was the new Nick Gary play. I was telling that to our producer Sean Daly before the show. Yeah, that was awful. Thank God for Odori Jackson stepping up, because the Eagles would be screwed.
Low blow. I mean, it was a low blow. I will take that. But you're talking to somebody who's got to watch another year of Joe Shane making personnel decisions. So it doesn't get lower than that in terms of blows, quite personally.
I mean, that is valid. I mean, hey, like, at least they're in the playoffs. The Eagles are now playing the 49ers, who are my dad's team. So it could be an interesting weekend in the Murray household. And of course, as Sean, he wisely brings up, remember Saquon Barkley. Shout out to the Eagles for stealing him from the Giants.
Hard to forget him. I still think the Giants not signing him to a long-term deal is one of like 3 smart things Joe Shane has done, but it doesn't help what he looked like last year. Hey, we appreciate everybody joining us on the baseball insiders. We'll be talking more football, playoff football this week. We'll be back on Wednesday. Eric Cole and I will be here tomorrow to talk prospects. But until Wednesday's show, Robert Murray and I say take care. Join us in the Discord. Hit that join button below. All-Star or Rumor Mill tier. Be a nice place to see you. Private Q&A Thursday in the All-Star tier at 3 o'clock Eastern. This show, 3:30 Eastern on Wednesday. Plenty more offseason to go.
Thank you, everybody. Go Birds.